What if everything you were taught about money, working hard, saving diligently, buying what you love was never actually meant to make you rich? What if it was designed to keep you just comfortable enough to never question the system? What if the reason most people stay broke isn't because of bad luck or poor discipline or laziness, but a century-old design of financial behavior that rewired our brains to believe debt is normal and freedom means spending more? Because here's the truth. Your financial beliefs were programmed long before you could even count. The ads you saw as a kid ain't the lessons you heard at school. Even the way your parents spoke about money, all of it was shaped by an invisible system built to keep you running, not arriving. And before you think this is just another conspiracy theory, keep watching. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how modern psychology, corporate marketing, and monetary policy fuse together into a behavioral control system that touches every single dollar you spend today. But first, let's do a quick check-in. Where are you watching from right now? Comment below with your city, because this story isn't local. It's global. And if you're new here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the unfiltered psychology of money and control the parts they never teach you in school. To understand why you might feel stuck in this loop, we have to travel back not just a few decades, but over 100 years too, when the very foundation of modern money was being built. In the early 1900s, nations began realizing that controlling behavior could be just as powerful as controlling armies. And money. Money became the ultimate behavioral tool. After 1913, when the U.S. established the Federal Reserve, the financial world shifted from physical wealth, like gold, to psychological wealth, confidence, trust, and belief. Suddenly, the dollar wasn't backed by a vault of gold anymore. It was backed by our collective faith in it. Sound familiar? Today, that exact same faith holds up cryptocurrencies, stock markets, and even entire national economies. It's all built on the shared belief that money has value simply because we all agree it does. But here's where it gets really interesting. During the 1920s and 30s, psychologists and advertisers began working together. Thinkers like Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, discovered that human desires could be engineered. He realized that people don't buy products, they buy feelings, buy an identity. And that single realization didn't just change marketing, it changed the entire economy. Fast forward to the 1950s, America had entered what historians call the age of consumption. Advertising no longer just sold you soap or cars. It sold you status, freedom, and a sense of belonging. Every billboard whispered the same message: spend to feel alive. Sound familiar? Just open your phone today. Every app, every influencer, every limited time drop, it's all built on the same psychological formula that was perfected over 70 years ago. And this formula worked brilliantly. Household debt, which was once considered shameful, became normal. Credit cards were celebrated as symbols of financial trust. Even slogans like "Buy now, pay later" cleverly turned borrowing into an act of confidence. But underneath all of that shiny optimism, something subtle and transformative was happening. Our grandparents saved for what they wanted. Our parents borrowed to get it faster. And now, our generation subscribes to everything from entertainment to transportation, trading ownership for convenience. And we call it freedom. Does that sound familiar? Because this wasn't an accident. This was behavioral economics in action, a quiet merger of psychology and finance that completely changed how entire societies think about value, success, and even their own identity. And the more comfortable this system became, the harder it was to notice that comfort itself had become the cage. But who designed this system? Who really benefited from it? And what mechanism made it nearly impossible to escape? To answer that, we need to look at a single innovation that quietly turned your financial decisions into predictable data long before the internet even existed. Back in the 1950s, a small group of economists and corporate strategists began experimenting with something revolutionary: monetary behavior tracking. They realized that if they could collect enough data about spending patterns, where, when, and how people used their money, they could predict, and eventually, influence future economic activity. Credit scoring models and consumer psychology labs were merging into one powerful entity, a behavioral database of the human economy. And soon, corporations, banks, and policymakers all wanted access. Because this wasn't just about managing credit risk, it was about control. Who gets the loan? Who gets the job? Who feels secure enough to spend their money? Oh. Every number, every purchase, every financial yes or no UVA ever made became part of a growing algorithmic profile long before algorithm was even a buzzword. And this system didn't stop at your finances. It learned what made people feel rich, not just what made them be rich. It figured out how to monetize emotion. The same persuasive tactics used in early propaganda became the tools of modern marketing, now turbocharged with our data. The goal was never just to sell you what you needed, it was to keep you in a constant state of psychological debt, always chasing the next thing. So the next time you tap your phone to make a payment or scroll past an ad for something you didn't even know you wanted 5 seconds ago, ask yourself, who trained that reflex? Because in the next part of this story, we're going to uncover the one financial mechanism that made all of this conditioning possible. The tool that turned your attention, your habits, and your hopes into economic fuel for someone else's system.
House.
And you won't believe what it's called.
House.
Stay tuned. You've heard the phrase before, money makes the world go round. But what if that world is designed to spin you in circles? Let us break down how the modern system quietly locks people into a psychological and financial trap that looks like opportunity but functions like control. At the center of it all is one silent machine: debt-based currency expansion. It's a system built not on production, but on your future promises to pay. When the central bank, like the Federal Reserve, creates money, it doesn't just create dollars, it creates debt. Every single dollar born into existence comes with an interest rate attached. Think about that. If there's $1 trillion in the entire system, the people collectively owe more asterisk than $1 trillion to pay it all back. So where does that extra money, the interest, come from? You guessed it, from new debt. It's a mathematical loop, and you're living inside it. This isn't an accident, it's the design. It's the same feedback cycle that fueled the crashes of 1929, 2008, and others. Every so-called collapse is just a reset button for the same old equation. Back in 1971, when the US dollar was taken off the gold standard, it became pure faith, a belief system, not a balance sheet. And belief is incredibly powerful. But belief can also be engineered. The media tells you inflation is normal. Banks tell you credit is good. Schools tell you debt is necessary. And slowly, generation by generation, the psychology of scarcity becomes our culture. Does this sound familiar? Today, a staggering 77% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Here's the trick. When a society runs on debt, it needs constant growth to survive. But infinite growth on a finite planet is impossible. So someone has to carry the illusion that someone is you. You're encouraged to buy the dream, the new car, the college degree, the endless subscriptions. But those aren't just purchases, they're contracts. Tiny digital chains connecting you to the very system that profits from your anxiety. Every swipe, every loan, every zero-interest offer is designed to convert your time into their capital. Now, let's talk about the real mechanism, how the wealthy multiply their money without working for it, while the middle class loses ground even as they earn more. It's called leverage without liability. When the average person borrows money, they risk everything: their home, their car, their future. But when the elites borrow, they often risk nothing because they control the collateral and, more importantly, the rule book. Remember 2008? Major Wall Street firms were leveraged up to 42-1. That means for every $1 they actually had, they were gambling with 40. When the bubble inevitably burst, millions of people lost their homes. But the banks? They got bailed out. Why? Because the collapse is part of the plan. It's a massive wealth transfer disguised as a crisis. And each crisis deepens the same psychological cycle. Fear leads to compliance, which leads to dependency. So how does all this connect back to you staying broke? Simple. Your belief in the system keeps it alive. The Federal Reserve doesn't print value due. Every time you trade your labor, your time, or your attention for dollars, you are creating value. But since those dollars are designed to lose purchasing power every single year, about 17% since 2020, alone, your labor buys less and less, while asset owners gain more and more. That isn't just inflation, that's extraction. A slow, silent siphoning of real productivity into a financial illusion. And they've perfected the emotional timing of it all. Just when the public starts asking too many questions, when discontent starts to bubble up, boom, a recovery plan, a stimulus package, a new normal. Every reset is a ritual, a ceremony of distraction designed to restore faith in a failing equation. So what happens next? If every collapse is a reset, and every reset just makes the system bigger and more powerful, where does it all end? Here's the truth no one on Wall Street will say out loud. We are approaching a phase of digital consolidation, a point where physical cash, private assets, and even your personal identity will merge into what they call programmable finance. They call it central bank digital currency, or CBDC. It sounds modern, efficient, and safe. But what it really means is absolute visibility and control. Once money becomes code, freedom becomes permission. Think about it. If your spending data determines your trust score, then poverty isn't just a financial state anymore. It becomes algorithmic. That's the end game. A financial system so seamless, so integrated into your life that you won't even notice it's controlling you. But here's where the twist flips again, because awareness is power. The same system that manipulates your psychology can be hacked by understanding it. When you stop chasing the illusion of more and start protecting your time and your energy, you become unprofitable to the machine. Save deliberately. Invest in reality, not hype. Learn the rules of the game before they change them on you again, because they will change again. Pattern is older than the dollar itself. Empires print money. Elites extract wealth. The people awaken. And then history repeats. The question isn't asterisk if asterisk the next collapse is coming. The question is, who will own you when it does? Before we end, let me ask you, are we wiser now, or are we just walking the same old path in better suits? If you made it this far, drop a comment with the words, "See the pattern." That's how I'll know you're part of the few who are actually questioning the script. And if you want more unfiltered financial truth, the kind that connects 300 years of hidden design, hit that subscribe button, because in a world built on illusion, understanding is the only real currency you have left. Thanks for watching.